the Grey Warden himself. How kind of you to check on me. Your wounds from the last little scuffle are not troubling you too much, I hope? Try not to drink our potions unnecessarily. The road ahead is long, and who knows when we will have the chance to restock, with so many villages now razed by the blight. I am no spirit healer, of course, but no self-respecting mage could get by without at least knowing a healing spell or two. Wynne shall return soon regardless, and can see to them properly. But for now, I can ease your pain at least. Feel better? Marvelous. Forgive me, but that is all the power I can spare for now. Why? Well, it just so happens that when you arrived, I was doing the same as I do every day when we stop for the night. I am in the process of casting numerous spells. Deterrents of sorts, to keep danger away from the camp. Did you really believe the wandering darkspawn bandits and wolves merely decided to avoid us on a whim? 'Twas not a coincidence that we've remained undisturbed every night since we began our journey. In fact, Warden, I begin to fear for your common sense if you were not aware, and yet did not think to at least station one of us to guard our sleeping companions. No matter. I accompanied you to assist and ensure your safety, after all. Perhaps my mother was right in sending me with you. I must say, your skills in delegation, at least, are impressive. We arrived at our destination for the night, and within 10 minutes you had that oaf Alistair collecting firewood, Wynne searching for herbs and berries, Sten erecting our tents, and Leliana hunting game. They all rally behind you, even I, and you are most adept at making use of their individual skills. That leadership quality will take you far in life, when utilized correctly, of course. Is that a mocking tone I detect? Surely not from one so docile as you. I'll have you know I possess excellent leadership qualities should the situation require. But you are the Grey Warden, and thus I shall follow your lead when it comes to the issue of Darkspawn. Unless you would like me to gather up my own blight-conquering little troop and saunter off, leaving you to sleep unprotected in a spider-infested forest. I thought not. You may kneel and beg for my forgiveness any time you please. Stand up, you adorable fool. 'Twas a jest, of course. Anyway, allow me a moment to concentrate, and I will complete these barriers so that we may rest properly. Now then, a smoke-dispelling illusion to start with. It wouldn't do for everybody within 5 miles to see our campfire. A little spell on our allies to allow them to locate us, lest they stumble blindly through the forest all night. Next, a cloaking charm for the sounds, smells, and sights of our camp, should anyone happen upon us. But my suggestion spell should gently encourage people, animals, and everything in between to divert their course once they approach the vicinity anyway. Oh, come now. Mind control is a strong term, as is blood magic. The latter is hardly either of those things, merely a little voice in their head that they mistake as their own. And the chantry label anything they dislike as blood magic. You would do well to remember that there is a difference between the real sinister rituals many think of when the term blood magic is used, the kind performed over sacrificial altars into winter, and the trivial little charms the chantry merely view as inconvenient or undesirable. My mother's tomes contain a countless number of such things, and they have never been anything but useful to me as long as I've lived. And yet, what a surprise, I have not become overtaken by a demon. If one's mind and spirit are weak, the demons will be a danger to you, blood magic or no. But enough of this. Whether you approve of it or not, blood magic will be keeping you safe tonight. Finally, now that we have a few minutes to ourselves, I find myself curious. May I have a look at the Grey Warden treaties once more? Had I known of their importance before your arrival, I would have undoubtedly paid them closer attention, but alas, my mother has many more fantastical books and tomes that were of greater interest to me than politics. If you would allow me to read them with my full attention, I fear that the wording of these treaties may not be as binding as we shall need to convince our targets for their assistance. These are ancient agreements, you must understand, many of which will have been lost and forgotten by the people we now approach. What meaning will a tattered piece of paper signed by their distant ancestors have to the clans we seek, I wonder? I am particularly interested in the Dalish on the outskirts of the Brazilian forest, I must admit. It will be most enlightening to see whether they've managed to maintain the knowledge of shape-shifting magics. Sheltered as I have been from the outside world, I have yet to encounter another who knows it. A shame indeed, if you ask me. Even when putting its fighting utility aside, it can be a blessing of sorts when you wish to be alone. If I desire some time to think, some space from others, I can simply become one of the forest creatures and slink off into the night. To run with wolves and soar through the sky as an owl, there is nothing quite like it for clearing the mind. A tragedy indeed that the chantry ruled such magics as forbidden. There is much to learn from seeing the world through an animal's eyes, and the beasts of the wilds were my friends of sorts as a child. Do not misunderstand me, there was no conversation to be had. Animals are still animals, just as I was still human no matter the form I chose, but they viewed me as one of their own, and I cared for them the same way one cares for a cherished pet. You surely feel a level of connection with that Mabari mutt of yours, although he cannot speak to you, yes? The same is true for me. Perhaps I still prefer the company of animals to humans. Such complicated creatures, so easily led astray by jealousy, anger, and greed. Seldom is it that you see animals overtaken by demons, but the humans of this world are such easy pickings for corruption. But enough of this. I see Leliana has returned with our supper. It seems to be 3 particularly oversized rats. I suppose beggars can't be choosers. I shall cook, if you wish, but the rats won't skin themselves, and I certainly won't be getting my hands dirty. Off you go then.